Hello and welcome to CIO News. I am Khushbu Soni, the founder and chief editor at CIO News. This is our exclusive interview series on Tech Talk. And today on this series and this episode, we're going to be talking about Super App. For that, I have Rajiv Beri, Chief Technology Officer at Network People Services Technologies Private Limited. Rajiv has 20 plus years of experience in the IT industry. And during these years, Rajiv has worked closely with various teams like the technology team, the sales team to provide comprehensive solutions in the market. Rajiv has worked making and reviewing, designing solutions, providing estimates, writing white papers, doing a lot of market analysis for various technology within the industry. And he has deep understanding on developing and implementing mobile banking, mobile wallet, mobile commerce, mobile payments, solutions, etc. Rajiv, great to have you today on this platform, and we're really looking forward to learn from your experience.
Hey, thank you, Khushbu. Thanks for the introduction. Yeah, it is quite exciting. I mean, the journey that I have been, gone through over the last 20 plus years, it's quite exciting. And, I look forward across various ways, how I can contribute to the industry and to the organization, so yeah, so it's exciting.
Thank you. Great. So, Rajiv, I wanted to begin with putting across my first question is you've worked for the banking industry to provide them, various solutions, and you've
Yeah.
seen the transition from branch banking to mobile banking. What's your perspective on the history and the journey of banking services?
Yeah, so the journey has been quite, yeah, it's like varying. If you recall our, old days, that we used to go to the branches, and it used to be a task actually. And if you have to go open an account, you used to go to a branch and you have to sign a big form, and then for even cash withdrawals or deposits and things like that, every time you have to go to branch. Now that those were the old days, but when the technology evolved, and bandwidths of available bandwidth started increasing, that was the time that all these transitions started. From branch banking, we moved into, say, internet banking first. That was the first stage of evolution, wherein the banks then utilized internet banking as one of the channel for providing services. But again, that had certain challenges in it. you know uh, uh, One has to be on a laptop every time, whenever it has to be done, whenever a transaction has to be done. Now, coming to the current scenario, wherein we have the mobile phone in every pocket. So we have, say, as per the data of last year, we have got 659 million smartphone subscribers in India. So so we have got, so all of them have got data. So the power of data has increased. So the customers now want everything on the go. They do not want banking as a separate task. They do not intend to think like that. So that is where evolution has come. So so the banks have started investing in the technology, and the habits of those millennials have started changing. And with banks investing more and more, and the devices getting more and more powerful, it is even more, the customers are getting even more demanding in those terms. So now banks have started giving all the services on the mobile. So one of the distinct advantages over the internet banking versus mobile banking is you can do the banking on the go. So it is no more a separate task that you have to think, open up your laptop or something, and then do something. It is like on the go. You're traveling, you just did the fund transfer. You are in the market, you are doing the payments. Like today, everyone is doing the scan and pay QRs. So no one is now, no one thinks banking as a task per se, or banking as a bigger thing that we have to take out some time and do something like that. So yeah, it has evolved from the branch banking to internet banking first, and then now it is the mobile banking, the era of mobile banking, where everything is on your small device, where you can access anything and everything whenever you want. Plus that has given advantage to the banks, that now they can serve their customer in a more efficient manner, wherein they can focus on bringing those services which makes the customers stick to their platform more,
Correct.
stick to their application more. So that is how things have been changing and they have been evolving. Yeah, so that is the evolution which I feel.
Absolutely. I mean, what an evolution, right? I mean, I don't remember going to a branch in the
Yeah,
last 3 years. I mean, it's all on mobile. Now that
yeah,
I don't even go to a browser to do any transaction. It's all
yeah,
mobile banking.
true.
So happy to see this transition over the years, and finally I can say that yes, we all are evolved customers and users and industry as a whole. Um,
True.
Rajiv, what is Super App? If you can introduce Super App to us.
Yeah, okay. So, if you see what used to happen is, whenever you think of banking per se, or bank as a financial entity, we all have a trust in that brand. Okay. Now, but we used to open the banking apps or do the, whenever we think of a bank, we used to think of the traditional functions that were offered, like opening up accounts, managing those accounts, deposits, loans, or the taxes, or collecting those certificates, passbooks, and all that. But the customers demands have changed now. So if you see, it is very difficult. So there are options available in the market that are, for example, other than banking services, for a bill payment I may have to have a separate app.
Correct.
If I have to do a cab booking, I am having a separate app. If I have to do a flight booking, I am having a separate app. For all that.
Right.
So, but my trust with the banks is, the bonding between the bank and the customer is such that if my bank starts giving those services on the same platform,
Yeah.
that makes me, since I'm always a loyal customer to the bank, I trust bank more than anyone else as a customer. So I
Correct.
would, prefer to use their platform for doing my all the transactions besides the routine banking stuff,
Yeah.
right? So the earlier banking, the traditional banking services that they used to offer, like deposits, loans, or the government schemes, all these PPF services and all the tax payments, forex, the debit card, credit card, treasury, all these are still available in your mobile banking app as a service, as a standard service which is offered by all the banks. But besides that, the super app opens the gateway to the bank to offer the other services to the customers, which they used to have other applications or focused on other service providers. So that dependency has been reduced by super app. You know, architecturally, as well as the way we are projecting super app in the market. So now in the same super app, we have enabled third party services apart from the traditional banking services. So you have got the recharges there, you have got the bill payments there, you've got the bus booking, cab booking, hotel booking, everything inside the same app.
Okay.
You have so if you recall, now banks are have also started doing the investment business, managing your mutual funds and all that. Then they also have their demat arms. So
Right.
all those services are also now part of the same application. So besides the traditional services that banks used to offer, the super app is a platform where banks can provide the add-on services which are of daily use. So I'm not doing a daily fund transfer,
Yeah.
but today I'm doing a fund transfer, tomorrow I may be doing a bill payment, day after I may have to do some recharge,
Correct.
after that I may have to do some insurance, like January, February, March, or other times wherein
Yeah.
most of the people
Yeah.
make most of
Yeah.
those investment decisions, for taxing and all that. So for all that, if I've got everything inside my same app, I do not need to look beyond it. So
Correct.
that is what super app platform has actually given the bank. Okay, so
Mhm.
it is offering all the services inside the same application, and that is what we have tried to create. That is the kind of platform we have tried to create with the super app.
Fantastic. And how is it an add-on for the millennials? So this is all for the customers, and we're talking about millennials. So good to know.
Yeah, so if I see there's a shift in the millennial habits. If you
Yeah.
recall, earlier it was like I mentioned, when we used to think of bank, we used to think of the traditional brick and mortar model, wherein we used to go to branch for doing anything. But now what has happened is I want everything on the go. I cannot take out time to separately go to the branch for doing any service. So and with the advancement of technology, availability of bandwidths, banks have also started that they can reduce their cost by offering those services on the mobile, instead of spending that much time in branch, their branch persons doing those jobs versus the jobs of loans, where they are going to earn more. Instead of serving me as a savings account customer, they would rather serve a CASA customers, wherein they can more earn more. So those kind of things, banks have also started to understand. Plus, the technology is favoring us. The
Right.
bandwidths are favoring us. So those kind of shifts in the habits have actually empowered the banks to offer these services inside the mobile itself.
Right.
So now I do not have to go to the branch, like you mentioned. You haven't visited the branch for last 3 years. I haven't visited the branch for more than 5 years now.
Yeah.
Even for any forms also, they are also available in the mobile app itself. We fill
Right.
those forms, everything is done there itself for any new service also.
Right.
So that is the power. Plus, the another interesting thing here is in the mobile app is if I say as a financial entity, we launch a new product. you know uh, the banks used to incur huge costs in advertisement, like
Yeah.
on in promoting. For example, they opened up a new FD with an attractive rate of interest. Okay, now one way is they advertise it in papers, or they advertise it in print media or something. But with mobile, they can quickly send a notification to all their customers, that this kind of a new feature or new FD is available, and instantly, they can start getting those hits also, or they can actually convert their leads to actual customers. So they can transit, they can actually connect with their customers very quickly. They can market their new products offerings very quickly.
Correct.
So yeah, so that is another attractive feature of all this, of the, and that is my habit also. So I also I mean, usually people now do not have time to read those articles or go to branches and things like that. So everything is available now on mobile. News also we read from mobile only.
True.
So if everything is mobile, why not advertisement, why not new product offers? So all everything is in this. So that is the shift, of habit, I would say, and that is why everyone is now forced to use this as their primary platform.
Correct. Correct. Absolutely. Rajiv, one more thing that we've been seeing is that, of course, now that, and also, I mean, in the last couple of years, we've seen the importance of cybersecurity, because the shift from transactional, way of working to digital, has created a lot of risk, in
Yeah.
terms of data privacy, etc. And cyber criminals are becoming more and more sophisticated. So, what measures have been taken by NPST to ensure security of the financial information when using a super app, for banking services?
Yeah, a very good question. Actually, like this, with more power comes more responsibility.
Yeah.
So that is what super app has actually turned into. So yeah, so when you have so many features, obviously you are playing in a world wherein lot of cyber attackers are also there, and they're all looking for some way to get into the application. So we have thought of the design from the design level itself. We have thought of all the security measures into the application. Plus, thanks to the regulatory controls in India that we have currently, they are always a step ahead, and they keep on evolving, like based upon whatever learnings they have from other markets or from their internal brainstormings. There are a lot of regulatory controls coming up, at regular intervals. So our app is fully compliant to all those regulatory controls which are released by the banks and the other entities like NPSA or RBI. plus when so there are two pieces to the security here that I'm going to discuss. One is about when you have an app which is residing on your mobile. You When you open that particular app, you may have few other apps which are actually for example, the any the screen sharing app, okay, popular screen sharing app. So the app actually scans and it won't allow the mobile application or the banking mobile application to open. The super app will not open if you have such kind of applications installed which are harmful, which may actually be used by an attacker to see what you're doing on, or maybe to record your pin or something like that. So all those recordings or screen sharing apps are totally we do not allow the app to open till you have those apps installed on the handset. So the other thing that we do is protecting your data. Okay, so how do we do that? Actually, we have a lot of encryptions which are dynamic in nature. We do not have fixed encryption technologies. We always use for every session dynamic encryptions, checksums. We have all the kind of session tracking. We have inactivity controls in place. All that is there in the application. Then for the over the air transfer, we obviously have the SSL, latest SSL version in place, so that there is no threat when the data is transferred from the mobile handset to the bank servers. So all that channel is also encrypted, the data is also encrypted. And on top of it, we have got say multiple level of pins, passwords, okay, for getting into, one is for getting into the application, the another one is for while doing the transaction. And apart from it, we have got regular say security audits which are say from the approved auditors. Okay, so we have got regular source code scans, we have got regular app scans, and we fix all those points which are observed by them, and then only the apps are uploaded. So these are all regular checks which are there in the application. So we understand that it is very important for us to comply by all the security guidelines in place, and whatever best can be done in terms of security.
Right. Fantastic. Rajiv, what's the technology used behind Super App?
Yeah. Over the past 7 or 8 years, of learning that we have invested in this mobile banking area, what we have learned is earlier we used to have like native code base. Okay, we used to develop separately for Android, separately for iOS. So it was very difficult to first to match the expectations, to keep up the pace of the demands coming in from the financial entities. And plus the other thing was to make that look and feel exactly similar to what you are seeing in Android and what you are seeing in iOS. So those kind of things were very difficult when we were on the native part, when we are doing the native coding. So with Super App, what we have done is we have completely shifted our development platform from the native to the Flutter engine. Okay, so Flutter is a cross-platform development framework which allows us to serve both Android and iOS customers from a single source code base. Apart from that, it allows us to give the same look and feel, or the same business logics can be implemented in both the for both the applications in one go. So that gives the turnaround time. So the turnaround time of the application delivery also increases due to that.
Right.
Plus, our developers also are now relaxed, whereas earlier they had to do coding in two languages. Now they have to do it in one, check it at once. Plus, we have got a hot reload feature which is offered specifically by Flutter, which helps in quickly developing the applications. Because there are a lot of widgets available in the by the Flutter community, which we use for designing our UI. So that is where we have shifted the entire technology base of developing the mobile app to Flutter. But to add to that, we have not moved completely from native, because there are certain pieces which are very particular to the things where we have to use native platform itself. So we have few pieces which are still written in the native of Android and iOS, But we can say that around 90-95% of the application is in Flutter. The remaining 5%, which is the core or the heart of the application, is still in the native, because we have to regularly access the native features using those. So those libraries are still native. Apart from that, everything is shifted to Flutter. So that is the entire tech stack of the mobile application.
Correct. Great. I think it was great conversation, Rajiv. Thank you for introducing Super App to us. Thank you for highlighting the importance of transitioning from branch banking to mobile banking. I think very great pointers that we spoke about today. Um, any last points that you would like to highlight for our viewers who view this interview?
See, the journey to in banking is actually evolving, like we have discussed, and daily new things are coming up. So, so apart from from technical perspective, I would like to add few things here. So apart from using, say, changing the front side of it, the changing the face of it in the super app, we've done a lot of re-engineering in the backend also, wherein we have provided open API gateway, so kind of so like banks have got separate departments, and each department may have a separate set of APIs or structure of APIs using which we have to deliver those services on the mobile app. So what we have done is we have written few API gateways in the back end, which actually connect with which provide the seamless interface to the mobile application. So on the back end we have got multiple layers written for connecting with each of those providers. So your card systems may have a separate set of APIs, in your treasury may have a separate set, loans and deposits may have a separate type of APIs provided. So all that is actually consumed in one middleware and exposed as a single interface from the API gateway to the mobile app. So that allows the banks to to add more and more features into the app. So the super app, when it was launched, it had around 250 plus features, okay, inside the app. Plus it so over the year, over the last few months, we have added, every month we are adding more and more services to it. Plus it has allowed the banks to bring in other players, other fintechs, to offer the services in which they are masters. So for example, if you have something which is very unique, which can be offered to the customers, so they can give us their SDK. The super app, the architecture allows you to plug in that SDK. Those vendors can bring in, those fintech players can bring those SDKs. We can plug those in quickly, and they can start offering their services inside the super app very quickly. So those are the few changes on the architecture that we have done while designing the super app concept. So that will help anyone who has something unique to offer and wants the customer base. They can directly come and join this, and those features can be offered as services in the super app itself.
Got it. Got it. Great. Fantastic, Rajiv. Thank you so much once again for joining us on the CIO News platform and sharing all your learnings with us. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Khushbu. Thanks a lot.